What's up, YouTube? It's your boy, Professor MIMS, aka Professor Make It Make Sense. And today I'm bringing you another entertainment story regarding actor Anthony Mackie. But before we start, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps the channel out so tremendously, and I can continue to bring more entertainment content so we can know what's going on in the entertainment world. And today I'm bringing you a article about actor Anthony Mackie, who was recently on the Pivot podcast, and he basically elaborated his belief on the fact that male leaders are no longer having authority and that young men are increasingly failing to learn from the example of our male leaders, and the problem is just growing. And he also was talking about his parenting, the way he raises his children to be respectful young men, in the face of what he believes to be an ongoing attack on masculinity. So in this interview, let me go ahead and get right down to what he said. And this is all directly quotes from his interview. So Anthony Mackie elaborated on the issue. He says, so it's just that the thing of in the past 20 years, we've been living through the death of the American male. They have literally killed masculinity in our homes, in our communities, for one reason or another. But I raised my boys to be young men. And however you feel about that, you feel about that. Every time I left for a job, I tell my 15-year-old, the oldest one, you're the man of the house. You make sure these doors are locked. Every night this alarm is on. You text me or you call me every time before you go to bed and when you wake up. I love that because we're men. I keep my boys humble. Like my boys have never had a pair of Jordans. My boys don't do all that internet fly. He added, I could be the biggest star in the world. Do not let me catch you being stupid. My oldest gets it. My 15-year-old, he tells the other ones, he's like, yo, don't make dad mad. Once you get that one that's right, he's going to straighten the other ones out. So yeah, so that's basically everything that Anthony Mackie said in his interview. Now, for one reason or another, this became a very controversial take. And I know a lot of it has to do with our societal norms are changing. They have been for over like the last 20 plus years. And there's a difference between the way we used to be raised as what we would consider men and what is considered feminine, masculine and feminine nowadays. The way I look at it now is I strongly believe that our society is getting away from traditional norms, and it's actually ruining the household. And I've talked to some feminists in the past about this, and they think that we should be open to change. The issue I have with that is a lot of times young boys, when they're being raised to be coddled and they're not being properly taught to become young men, then once they become men, then it's like a huge culture shock for them. The world's no longer treating them the way they once did when they were children, and now it's one of those situations where the young boys are starting to be treated like men. And for those who don't understand what it is to walk the shoes of being a man, it's very difficult. Like as Chris Rock once said it, he said, women, children, and animals are loved unconditionally. Men are only loved under the condition that they can provide something. So what Anthony Mackie was trying to basically teach is that young boys need to be raised to eventually be men and know their value and also add value. And I don't understand why that's so hard to take from what he said. And I also don't understand why it's such a big deal for men to be masculine. Now, going back to my conversation I said earlier about talking to some feminists on the topic, it's because usually when you talk to them about masculinity, they always tend to like go straight to the most extreme circumstance of someone who's abusing their masculinity, like a macho man who is ignorant towards women and you know, kind of misogynistic and all those things. And I totally understand that. Like, we don't want our men growing up to the point where they're so masculine that they're completely ignoring women and being disrespectful. However, we also don't want to lead them astray and make them think that, oh, it's okay, you can act like a woman, or you could be feminine and the world is still going to treat you the same, because that is not true at all. We need to stop coddling our young boys. It's okay to teach our young men to be masculine, okay? There's nothing toxic about being masculine. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. So if you're teaching the boy to be masculine to a point where he's just egocentric and he's abusing his masculinity, that's one thing. But if you're just teaching him how to be a man, how to be strong, how to eventually become a provider, a provisionary, and also a protector, these are the things that are naturally, innately instilled in men's DNA. This is how we're supposed to be. So for everyone who gives backlash about gender roles, masculine and femininity, my thing is, why is it that it's okay to make conveniences when men should be men and women should be women? If we're going to go by traditional, we should stick to traditional. If we're going to say, hey, it's a modern world, men and women are equal and either should just be either, then we should stick with that. But that's not the case. We're still animals at the end of the day. We're still going to always go with what Mother Nature has instilled in us. Prime example, if someone were to break into the household, I don't think anyone in the world would say, oh, we want the woman to get out of bed and protect the household from the intruder. No, you're going to always go straight to the man is supposed to do that. Why? Because that's the way we are engineered. That's the way we're built. We're designed that way. And there's nothing wrong with that. So we got to stop with this trying to make it seem like masculinity is bad. This world infrastructure was built by men, and, you know, hate it or love the patriarchy is what has allowed our society to be what it is. So I'm just going to go ahead and end with that. Let me know what you guys think about this topic. It's one of those we really need to address it soon. So please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know your take on this. And I'll see you in the next video. As always, stay blessed.